Aha, there we go. Okay. This video is unavailable, restricted mode enabled. To view this mode, you will need to disable restricted mode. What does that mean?
Well, we can hear you.
Restricted mode? See, now I'm the problem.
Everything's working fine. We're recording, we're live on YouTube, and we can all hear you.
Well, what does restricted mode mean on YouTube?
Can you not see it?
No, I just want to be able to see the council.
It doesn't show anything as restricted on my end.
No, it's on my end.
Oh.
This is annoying. Amateur hour.
If you want to use the laptop over here,
Okay.
because I'm sure that's not going to make it more complicated.
Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 14th, 2022 Tenino City Council work session. Let the record show that all council members are present, except with the exception of Council Member Rachel Davidson, who has asked that we excuse her. She's got back from California and she had an exposure to COVID, so she's quarantining at home. So on the consent calendar, if we could add her excusal, that'd be appreciated. First and only agenda item we have on the work session is use of ARPA funds. And this one is, it's confusing, but it's not confusing. So we have Grit City Construction as our contractor that is working on the quarry house, and they're off to a great start. They're doing a good job. However, there was a situation that came up in some of the paperwork that needs to be done, and there's something called a SAM certification, that in order for you to receive these federal funds, you have a SAM certification as a contractor. SAM certification ensures that you are not on a federally debarred from receiving funding. And this is just a way to make sure that there's not, contractors that are out there kind of grifting and fleecing the federal government for money aren't being awarded contracts. Our city engineer ensured that they are not on the federal debarment list. In the agreement, it says before work starts, we need to have their SAM certification. They applied for their SAM certification over 2 months ago. Typically, it takes like a week to get. These days, it's taking 3 months to get. So they applied 2 months ago. They thought they had it. The engineer went ahead and got them started, and probably shouldn't have. And we received notification from the county, who kind of manages the funds, that they hadn't got the SAM certification yet, so they couldn't release funds to pay for the work that's been done yet until the SAM certification is completed, which it should be soon. But in the meantime, we need to ensure that Grit City is paid. We have stopped them from working any further until their SAM certification is done. Once they get their SAM certification, the city can be reimbursed. Not that it necessarily needs to. If we do what we're asking tonight, we have additional ARPA funds available, and this is a project that would be appropriate use of those funds. So what we are asking is the council authorize use of approximately, I want to say 80,000 in ARPA funds to pay Grit City. If we do that, that'll get Grit City paid. The rest of the CDBG money will still be available for the quarry house project. And then once SAM certification is finalized in the next few weeks, we'll get them back to work. So with that all having been said, is there any questions or comments or discussion on this?
Yes. What happens if they don't get their SAM certification and we've already given them 80,000?
Say that again?
What happens if they do not get their certification after we've given them the money?
The work's already been done, so the work that they've done is completed. So we would be paying them for the work that's done out of the ARPA funds, which we were awarded, like, I want to say 520,000 in ARPA funds, and we've used just shy of 300,000 of it. So the money is there, and this is we just haven't designated what to do with that money yet. But this is an appropriate use of those funds. I haven't brought up the surplus ARPA funds because I've kind of been holding them back as a contingent for the projects that we're working on. We've got 3 sizable projects that we're working on. One that was finished that we're going to talk about next meeting that we would need to use some of these ARPA funds for. If they don't receive SAM certification, that just means that we paid for their work out of the ARPA funds instead of the CDBG funds, and the CDBG funds are able to be transferred over to another project.
So
there is no reason they will not receive SAM certification, and it would behoove them to do it because it allows them to complete their contract with us.
Yeah, I'm always looking at what if. You should know that about me by now. So basically, what you're saying, funds are there that does not affect in any form the city's budget. It's all government. It's all federal funding from one source or another.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, that's the important part. Thank you.
Yeah, and we've been pretty conservative with the ARPA funds. Like I said, about half of them we've just been kind of holding in contingent in case we need to use them on the quarry house, the city hall project, the pool project, the park project, or the ag park project. So within the next year, we're going to need to spend them on these things, and I imagine there's going to be more things like this that come up. At the next meeting, we'll have a proposal from you to finish the city hall project, and there's going to be like another 37,000 that we're going to ask to authorize that, and I'll explain all that at the next meeting. But the funds are all there for us.
It sounds like the SAM number 2 we're waiting on. It's a staffing issue. It's like another one of those situations where there's a long line of people.
Trust me, I understand it. I just wanted to make sure that we're not taking city funds to do something like this.
Yeah, this in no way affects the general budget, the general fund budget. None of this has anything to do with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Do we have any guests in the audience?
George and Jessica are here.
Okay. All right. Having discussed our work session items, let's go on to reports, and let's start with the George Sharp Hour.
Good evening, council members and mayor.
Is your mic on? Yeah. A little light should come on.
How about now?
Yes. Oh gosh. Sorry. Okay.
Good evening, council members and mayor. I'm going to give the chamber report first, and tomorrow the chamber has their monthly luncheon, and tomorrow we're going to announce who the Grand Marshal and who the Citizens of the Year are going to be, and Tyler Whitworth, the chair of Oregon Trail Days, is going to get an overview of everything that's happening. All the programs that we normally do at Oregon Trail Days are back up and running. We're going to have the Black Powder Shoot. We'll have the gym show. Of course, the Depot Museum's putting on Pioneer Village. The parade will be on Saturday at 11. We're also going to have a talent show on Sunday at 11. We're going to have a magic show at 11, and then 12 will be the talent show. So that's something new that we're adding this year. And it's going to run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I believe we have 8 food booths lined up so far, and we're continuing to have arts and crafts vendors starting to sign up. So, and we're in partnership with the food bank in doing the vendor part of that, and so appreciate their support of it as well. And then for Steady, we're going to meet Steady at the Senior Center in Rainier this Friday, And we have Jonathan Thomas from the Habitat for Humanity in Thurston County going to come and talk about their neighborhood revitalization program. I met with him last month, and it's a very interesting program, and I think it's some lessons that all of our South County communities can learn from, so I'm looking forward to that as well. The EDC is going to have their board retreat, their board meeting next Wednesday at noon, and that will be here in Tenino at the Kodiak Room, and will be catered by Don Wands. And the EDC is trying to travel throughout the county to showcase the board of directors, which is about 25 people, all the different things that are happening all across the county, especially what's happening here in South County. Arts Commission, we're still trying to find a date that's going to be agreeable for all of our members, and I'm hoping to certify that soon. It looks like we might move to a daytime meeting. We were trying to do an evening meeting, but that didn't work out. Anything else on there for my list of things to report? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, George. Can you hear him? Could you hear that? Okay. Oh no, did you lose Mike? We can't hear
Sorry,
you.
I'm on mute.
Oh, okay.
VCB had their annual meeting. George and I were there. Was well represented by the city of Tenino. Tenino's John Borden was added to the VCB board of directors, and Justin Borden received an award. George? I believe you nominated him. Do you want to tell him about the award that Justin from Sandstone received?
I believe that they received was the Visionary Award for the VVCB, and he was also nominated with Cheryl from the Sandstone Cafe, so he won the award, but we had great representation at the VCB annual meeting.
Thank you, George. Fire District 12, Councilmember O'Callahan.
One of the things that's concerned me through these times has been our fuel consumption for all of our vehicles. If you've been paying attention to the news, there's at least 10, maybe more different districts throughout the United States that just cannot respond to police calls and fire calls, depending, and it's getting really bad out there. I had a nice discussion with our board. We've been assured that we are good as far as fuel throughout the year because of some other things that we're doing. So we're doing good. That was the important part for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Library representative, we heard from them at our last meeting. Museum, Jessica.
Hello. So the museum is open. Yay, we've been open for about 2 weeks now. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, noon to 4. The main focus of the Historical Society right now would be preparing for Oregon Trail Days, Pioneer Village, and Tenino Railroad Day. We also just received from Richard Wharton, son of Ivy Whited, a substantial collection of her research, genealogical research. About 8 boxes worth were dropped off from her estate. I'm completely overwhelmed. So there's a lot of wonderful historical photos that come from the Whited, Davies, Prince families. So we're going to be starting a scanning project, myself and our town historian, Rich Edwards. So that will be a big endeavor. So that's pretty much all I've got. Any questions?
I have one other thing I wanted to add. We applied for Thurston lodging tax, Thurston County lodging tax, and we've been awarded $5,000 to the chamber, and $3,000 of that's going to be able to print a new brochure that's going to combine the 3 brochures that we have: the walking tour of all of Keith Phillips' artwork, the downtown walking tour of all of our buildings, and then visitor information as well. And then Tenino Oregon Trail Days received $2,000 $1,000 of that we're going to use for marketing, restrooms, signage, and then $1,000 also going to support the Pioneer Village and the expenses associated with that. So super excited that South County got $5,000 for Tenino.
Okay. Am I back?
Yeah.
I'm on the YouTubes now, so you don't have to do the moving around the camera thing.
Oh,
But so now, like, look,
you are so official.
you can see you guys. This is so cool. All right. Tenino Community Service Center, Civil Service Commission, Facade Improvement Grant Review Committee. Linda, do you have a report for us?
I have not heard from I did hear from Heather at Whitewood Cider, and they're going to be working on the building soon, I hope. Now that it looks like we're going to get a few days of no rain, I hope. It's just been hard for anybody to get too much done. They're really coming along well on the independent buildings. They took the tin off the windows on Howard Street that had been covered up with beautiful glass.
It's Wayne's.
Oh.
Okay, carry on.
Anyway, there was a little video of John Borden up there prying off the tin off these windows, and they had a glass company there that were going to repair some of the panes and put new panes in where they needed to be. So things are looking up.
Thank you, Linda. Okay. All right. I think I'm working now.
You gotta, I think if you're gonna listen, you gotta at least mute your YouTube, because we got a lot of feedback.
I know, like, it's.
A lot of devices in play right now.
I'm trying to use my laptop as a camera and
Yeah.
then my phone as a screen. I wonder if I was to do it opposite, if it would work better.
Oh no, that's good
Anyways.
now though. I mean, we can.
We're good now. I just have a hard time hearing you guys. That brings us to Planning Commission, Public Safety. Chief of Police did not attend tonight. He was not feeling well. Director of Public Works, City Planner, Code Enforcement, Building Inspector, Park Specialist. That is Jessica Reeves once again.
Hello. Okay, so we're open at the museum, and that's because we're nearly complete, but we're not totally complete. So since I was last here, we have had some windows replaced, so those are looking really good. They were replaced with antique glass. We've had the sinks came back that we had powder coated, but they're not installed yet, so we don't have sinks in the bathrooms. And then when we turn the water back on, so that we'd have toilets, a leak happened in the men's room. So we have a new problem. So anyway, these things keep springing up. They're very old toilets. I actually got up there, looked in it. They are wood, and they're lined with copper, and the copper's corroding because it's been in there since 1914. And so we're going to have to get really creative. And that's the hard part, is getting antique. You have antique equipment, and then you have to find modern parts. It doesn't really work, so you have to special order parts that are compatible. So it's a work in progress, but we have a plan. So I also just want to say that we've saved probably over $5,000 on painting and doing the bathroom floors, because I did them myself. So we had bids on those projects, and I did it, and it really has made it so that when things like this spring up, like the toilet going haywire, we still have money to cover that. So that's a good thing. We've had 2 film crews come through Tenino recently. So we had the Washington State Arts Commission come in and do a film, and then Experience Olympia and Beyond came in to the museum and had a fake family walk through, and they filmed them doing things. I think they were actually a real family, but they were they were staged. So that was fun. I'm working on the interpretive signs at the park. I've ordered 2 shelter signs that are going to say that you can reserve this shelter, and it'll say the date that it's reserved for, the name, and where to call to reserve it. So hopefully people will think, oh, I better reserve it so that I don't come along and, you know, it's just another little revenue stream, hopefully. And let's see, oh, the baseball teams are ramping up again, apparently. So that's another thing. We're going to have in July, we're going to have the Lizard Man coming to the park. We're going to have a concert, STP, Oregon Trail Days, so there's a lot of things going on. Last week I met with Lacey Parks and Rec, Jeanette. She's in charge of a lot of the programs going on over there, and she came here with some of her team and coached me. So they've given me a lot of ideas on things that I can do when we have the facilities to do things like at the, you know, different classes at the Quarry House, and she's going to send me some resources and teachers that I can use and things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of resource sharing. Tomorrow is the tour for the 7th grade. So the 7th grade is going to be, if you're in Tenino, they will be marching through town. Main Street, Keith's Shed, City Hall, the park, the museum complex, and Forest Grove Cemetery. So that's going to be my day tomorrow. And a lot of other people and a lot of other volunteers in town are helping with that. So any questions? All right. Thanks.
Oh, 7:30, Mayor. Yes. Did you hear me that it's 7:30?
There's a lag, though. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Every time I turn it louder, it does that. Hi, can you hear us?
There we go. How's that?
Good.
Okay. There's a lag now. I don't think I'm on join meeting. Okay, this is weird. All right. Thank you for, we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. I had the request that we add excusal of Councilmember Davidson.
That was on the agenda. I put her absence on the agenda already.
Okay, all right. We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second? All right. Do we have any discussion? Doing it again.
Yeah. Is your YouTube on? Like the volume of your YouTube?
Working on it.
Okay. Technical difficulties.
All right, now we're good.
Okay.
Promise.
Yep.
All right. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to the approval of the minutes for 5/24/2022.
So
Do
moved.
we have a motion? Do we have a
Second.
second?
Linda seconded.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to the consent calendar, consisting of May 25th, 2022 through June 14th, 2022. Payroll EFTs in the amount of $117,975.55. Claims checks number 30634 through 30690, and EFTs in the amount of $486,000. I hate when I do that. $486,135.02 for a grand total of $604,110.57. No liquor license or cannabis renewals, and excusal of Council Member Davidson for illness.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We have no executive session. We have no presentations. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment? If so, you step forward and do so at this time. You'll be given 3 minutes. State your name and address. Again, is there anyone from the audience that would like to provide public comment? Moving on, proclamations, none. Old business, none. New business, item 5, use of ARPA funds. This was discussed in the work session. Grit City Construction, our contractor for the Quarry House renovation, has not yet received their SAM certification. So we have required them to stop work until SAM certification has been completed, which we anticipate in the next few weeks. SAM certification is required to receive CDBG funds, so they cannot be paid from the CDBG funds yet. So we are asking the council authorize the administration to access $80,000 from ARPA funds to pay Grit City for the construction that they've done in the Quarry House renovation project thus far.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the administration to use $80,000 for ARPA funds to pay Grit City. Is there any discussion? And we had good discussion on this during the work session. So if there's anybody in the audience that has any questions, they can also refer to that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No resolutions, no ordinances. That brings us back to reports, and we have Linda the librarian has joined us. Linda, if you'd like to give the library report.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. So it has been great working with Jessica, and I am still coming to look at photos, but probably not for another week. We've been pretty busy at the library because the summer library program has started up, and it's been wonderful to see so many people in the library and excited about the things that we're able to do this summer. I did spend time, on Monday and last week visiting schools and talking about the summer library program. And it was wonderful to be back in the schools and interacting with the kids. So it feels like we're like more normal. It's wonderful. So we've been off to a good start, and I talked to the elementary school, Parkside on Monday, so I expect more kids to be coming in, but we are just under 50 people who've already gotten started with summer library program. And just a reminder that as long as you're born and as long as you haven't died, you can participate in the summer library program. So adults, every age group is welcome to do that, so please join us. Yes, working with Jessica, the Reptile Man is confirmed for July 9th, so we'll be near the Quarry House stage at 3 o'clock on the 9th to, I'm not sure enjoy is the right word for all of the reptiles, but we'll be interested, or speaking for myself, I will be interested to learn more about them, but perhaps not get so up close and personal with all of them. Story Trail, this is another thing I've worked with Jessica on. I let the mayor know that it had been installed, and they're on the bright yellow signs that are near the Quarry House, and I think there are 21 or 22 signs, so it's a nice little stroll back by Tickner Schoolhouse, and even goes down to the caboose and back up, and so get a little walk around, which is nice. And I went after our last big rainstorm to check out the signs, and some of them are a little bit wet, but they are all holding up, so that's good to know. We will have news stories at the beginning of July, August, and September, and the September one will be tied to the railroad celebration. So the little engine that could. I bet everybody here is familiar with that title, so that will be fun. So just a lot of busyness and enjoying people being in the library, and continuing to plan, looking ahead. So nothing earth-shattering to report, which is good. Not have something. We have not had a toilet crisis, so I hope you have not suggested to our toilets that something should go wrong. So, yeah, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. City Clerk, Treasurer, Mayor.
Your feedback.
It's happening again.
It's happening again.
All right, I think I fixed it.
Yeah, better.
So the mayor has been busy. We've attended a couple meetings and a lot of back and forth, getting ready for the retreat coming up. Excited about that. There's some. Sorry. There is some, believe it or not, some balancing that we're trying to do with communications from arranging remotely from London. So we've got somebody that wants to be remoting into our retreat from London, which a surprise guest. Not gonna throw it out there yet, but we're gonna see where it goes. So looking forward to the retreat. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. I'm going to try to be in like 8 places at once, as we have the community service center thing. We have the thing with the middle school kids come to City Hall. And then also my daughters, I'm trying to attend the field day at the elementary school. So if I don't get to be everywhere at once, please know that I'm playing dodgeball with the elementary school kids. That is my report. We signed a contract with BHC Consultants that we talked about at the last meeting, and at our next meeting we will have some guests from BHC Consultants come and talk about our plans with building services and the things that they offer. I think that'll be a good presentation, and be that.
Just summer lunches are returning for the summer. Not returning, but they're going to be continue on this summer for 11 to 12:30 Monday through Friday at the middle school for anyone that wants school lunches. Chocolate milk Fridays.
Chocolate milk.
Thank you, Jason.
Rachel gave me a little update on hers. Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
She just said that graduation was Friday night. It went great, and the school district announced the new athletic director. But that's been everywhere. Most people got an email about it, and it's on their website. And that was it, I think. Not a ton. End of your wrap up.
Thank you. TRPC.
Trying to say, Social Regional Planning Council, I sent everybody, I sent you guys the after meeting minutes, and for the Transportation Policy Board, we're rehashing what we think we can do with all the money that the federal government is supposedly sending to us. Our next meeting is actually going to be a work session between us and the TAC committee. This way we've got some ideas of what we possibly can get done. One of the big things that came out of our last discussion was quote unquote large programs. So, and we're going to be talking about that. And I said, well, if we're going to be talking about large programs, then you need to bring examples, because a large program in Tenino and most of South Thurston County is usually pretty small compared to North County. And everybody agreed with that, so we'll see what comes of that. All we know is that we're getting money. We don't know how much we're getting, and we don't know what we're going to be allowed to do with it. So we're doing the best that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, John. One thing that I failed to mention in my mayor report, so we received word back from Department of Licensing, the Department of Licensing, Department of Health for the pool permit. There was some feedback. There was quite a laundry list of feedback that we got back, and we just got it back today, and we've got our pool consultant going through it. Some of it is like stuff, there's like semantics that maybe need to be cleaned up. So, you know, is it now you know, we called it a waiting pool in the permit, I believe. Traditionally, it's just been a pool, and the state comes back and they say, well, the waiting pool is only as deep as two feet, and we see a depth of 2 feet 3 inches, and so, you know, that creates additional paperwork where we have to respond to that or redesign it to skim out those 3 inches. There's some barrier considerations. There was some thing, well, you know, if you have a pool that is this large and you only have sun deck space of this much, so there's some more design work that's going to have to be done. It was a little disappointing. It was a big laundry list, but it was kind of expected, but still not fun to receive. So we did get some word back from the state. Public comments number 2. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment, please do so at this time.
Wait, you skipped solid waste advisory.
Oh. Solid Waste Advisory Board. Councilmember Clam, I apologize.
That's okay. Solid Waste will they'll be doing surveys at the Oregon Trail Days regarding the transfer stations in Rochester and Rainier to see what the needs of the community are. They'll also be doing one at the Tenino Farmers Market because they have deadlines. So that's why they're picked Tenino, because our dates coincide with theirs. And all the equipment is back up and running normal.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Good catch, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any announcements? Are there any announcements?
Actually, this would be a good time for this. It's just a suggestion. On Memorial Day, we don't do hardly anything here. There's very little that's done in North Thurston County, and there's very little that's done throughout the state. You know, we have the normal flag thing that some people show up, but most people haven't the slightest idea. Up in upstate New York, the mayor up there has decided, and it seemed to go over extremely well with everybody that lives there, to have the police and the fire departments park a vehicle on each of their corners, and each vehicle for 15 seconds would blast a siren at noon for Memorial Day. I've already talked with the fire department. They think it's a pretty good idea. I haven't talked to Chief yet, but this is something that I'd like to be able to get done next year. For everything. So like I said, I haven't talked to the chief of police yet about the idea. Just something that I'm working on. Thought you guys might be interested.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other announcements?
Can I give an update about what's going on in City Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we've had a contract with Robert Hath and brought in David Campbell, who is amazing, and he's got us all reconciled and caught up on the books, and we are audit ready. So good stuff. I think he'll be cleaning up and finishing up at the end of this week, but that's huge. So
That is huge.
yeah, it's a good thing.
All right. Thank you, Jen. Any further announcements?
Yes, you told me to wait till later, like August or so.
Any further announcements?
We can do it sooner. Okay. No further announcements, it appears.
Okay. That brings us to adjournment.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.